The dramatic arrest of Grace Njoki Mulei as she sought medical help at a hospital and her subsequent dragging to a police station only to be released the next day without charge sparked outrage among Kenyans.
I have marks on my hands that where I was being pinched and I was being dragged and you can see the knees that I was left with. They're actually all here.
Grace Njoki, a 61-year-old nurse, was arrested for storming Health Cabinet Secretary Deborah Baraza's office to plead her case as well as that of other patients who were unable to receive medical treatment after Social Health Authority system failed. Her dramatic arrest at London Hospital in Eastleigh occurred as Njoki was in the process of booking her knee surgery. She sat with Citizen Digital to share the ordeal that caused her anxiety and emotional stress.
I have panic attacks. I wake up at 2 a.m. I can't sleep. I have to take a sedative to sleep. I'm even scared of leaving the house without anybody, without an escort. I'm a nurse by profession. After having worked for over 30 years, I retired due to the COVID because of medical issues and also the retrenchment that was happening during the COVID time. And for the last few years after retiring, I have assisted many patients. That's what I do part-time. And I'm also a farmer. I really love helping the sick people, the sick patients, whoever is sick. Even in my neighborhood, I normally attend to patients who need my help. The latest one was that time when I was in London. I was actually helping a mother of a neighbor to get discharged. Mm-hmm. So basically, I have a passion of taking care of patients.
I want you to take us back to the moment when you went to visit Kenyatta Hospital as a patient. What took you there?
I had been having problems with my knee for quite a while. So I had done an X-ray. And after review, I was told to do an MRI. So that's how I proceeded on to go to Kenyatta. But that was in December when I was supposed to have my MRI done, but unfortunately I lost my brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. And I didn't do it in December. Then in January, the pain was getting worse. And during the interchanging of NHIF to SHA, my husband, when he was filling the paperwork, my name was omitted, so I could not use his SHA. Then I decided to go ahead and use mine because we both pay, we are both members. And that is how I landed up in Kenyatta Hospital. Mm-hmm. Because I wanted an MRI to be done. Basically, I had gone there as a patient. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And how was your experience there?
When I landed in Kenyatta, I found a queue of many patients. There are many offices in Kenyatta for SHA. So basically, I walked around all the offices and they were all saying the systems were down. So I decided to wait, because normally you wait, they come up. That was on a Wednesday. But as I was listening to the other patients, they were having a talk, a general talk. Mm-hmm. And it was a concern to me because I could understand how helpless they were feeling. And there was one specific patient that really, let's say about 4, who really touched me. Because one was a young man who got a kidney failure due to the COVID vaccine. Another one was a child who had swallowed the coin. And the mother who was having breathlessness because of a CS that had been done. Being a medical person, you understood what that meant. And there was also another lady who had a child who was epileptic and had been in hospital for 3 days, awaiting SHA approval, was supposed to go to theater and did not manage to go. So she was sleeping in the hospital floors because she had no transport to go back back and forth. And we had many patients. Some were saying they were coming from Bugoma. Actually, we had patients from all over the country. Mm-hmm. And each person was sharing their experience. So it really troubled me that people had been there for days and they had run out of money because some of them were sleeping in hotels. And on that day when I went on Wednesday, basically I have a motto that when I go to hospital, I carry breakfast, lunch and supper. That's my motto. Mm-hmm. I had carried some chapatis and I gave the patients who were there, who were hungry, even there were some children who were crying, because they had no food, and it really bothered me that they had been there for some days and still the shower was not working. So we all did a praise and worship, and we said, let God do his will, and I went home. That was on Wednesday. So on Thursday morning, I wake up again, we wait, it's going to 11 and still no shower. So that is when I decided, let me assist the way I know how, because I had a sister who was sick with a brain tumor for a while, and normally I used to go to the offices to get approvals. So I had an idea how approvals are done according to NHIF. So if the systems were down, there was always a backup. So actually when I asked those patients, whoever can walk with me and the others who are unable to walk, we take a walk to NHIF, we see if we can get the approval done. And that's how I landed up in NHIF. We were very peaceful actually. We entered the lifts, we went up to, I think it was 6th floor. Then we asked for the ICT department. So that's because we knew that if the systems are not working, it has to do with the ICT. And that's when they told us that the systems have been shut down and they are unable to access. So I knew always when the systems are down that there is a plan B. So that is how I landed up going to, it's called a pre-authorization office. I walked there, I asked them, and they told me even them, they had been shut down from the previous week on Wednesday. So that is when now I asked them, now help us, because we have patients who need to go to theater, we need help, and we need to be assisted. So that's when they told me, go to Afya House. On 4th floor, you might get assistance there. So that is how we landed up in Afya House.
Here you are, you have patients who actually need help urgently, but they cannot access it. How was that experience for you?
Actually, in Afya House, let me say there was no violence at all at that time. When we entered the gate, they received us very well. And we told them we just wanted to go to 4th floor and have our approval done. So they told us, 3 of you, because we're a group, only 3 of you can go. So it was me and a gentleman. They said, let us be gender sensitive. But then the mother with the child, I felt since she was having a more pressing issue, I requested if we could go with her. And we walked up to 4th floor. We didn't get help. We went up to 5th floor. We found secretaries, 5th and 6th floor, and they kept telling us that there's a meeting going on. And they had no idea how long the meeting would take. And also the gentleman who had been told that is in charge of the ICT told us that he had no idea that the Kenyatta systems were not working. And he actually tried to make a few phone calls, but nobody seemed to know what was happening at that time. So due to my frustration, I felt that nobody was in the picture of what was happening in Kenyatta. Everybody seemed to be blank. And knowing that it was a matter of urgency, especially for the mother and the child who had a coin, being a medical person, and I took an oath. So I decided to go. Actually, the meeting had been all over the media, that the CS is having a meeting at 7th floor. And I was hoping that I would get help, because we'd been told that we'll be helped. So when we walked in, I just got worked up, and I felt that it is frustrating going from one person to the other. We are not getting answers. So it was a culmination of 2 days of what I had seen in the hospital. When I went there, the CS was not there. Whoever was inside there was just the journalists. So I did not have time to address her. I just talked to the journalists. But when we were there, with some patients who had left in the hospital told us that the system had woken up. When it was not working, now it was working. So we went back to the hospital, and me actually I had my MRI done on that day, very late at around 9:10. Yes.
What followed later was quite unsettling.
Yes.
We saw you getting arrested.
Yes.
Yeah? Take us through the experience.
Interesting, my neighbor called me that the mother had fallen and had taken her to another hospital, and had been advised that since the mother is elderly, she could not be operated on unless there was a facility that had an ICU. So that is how we landed in London. She actually went to theater on Monday morning, and she was treated very well. So the day I was being arrested, I was also going to process my admission while she was being discharged. And while I was in the office, the same gentleman I had seen in Kenyatta Hospital, the one whom my sixth sense told me to ask him questions, I found him in Kenyatta. And I asked him, what are you doing here? He claimed he had a patient. I don't know. And we continued conversing, and that was it. In the less than 20 minutes is when now, while I was still conversing with the lady so that I would get my papers processed, is when that lady in a suit, the blue suit, came and tapped me and told me we need to go. So I asked her, where are we going? And she didn't tell me anything. And I kept insisting, who are you? Where are you taking me? Are you arresting me? She tells me, no, we are not arresting you. So why should I go with you if you're not arresting me? What am I being charged? So that was my main thing. I kept insisting. And if you see in the video, I hid in an office. I walked in an office because I was at the reception, and I sat there. So I called my son, and I called my husband, and I called a few other relatives. And my son categorically told me not to leave and to wait for the lawyer to come. And they were on their way coming. And they talked with that lady on phone, and she said she would wait until they came. But within a short while, I saw a full command of police. They stormed in, and that time the doctor was there. He tried to intervene, told them I'm a patient. I tried to tell them, why don't you give me summons? I come myself to the police station. They didn't want. I told them, if it's a crime I have committed, I believe you should give me a warrant of arrest or whatever. But I don't know you people. I don't know where you're taking me. So I was forcibly dragged out of the hospital against my will. And actually that time I felt I was being abducted. Because basically they didn't identify themselves. I didn't know where they were coming from. I don't know where they were taking me to.
You didn't know who you were dealing with?
I didn't know, yes, exactly. I didn't know who I was dealing with. I didn't know what they would do to me. And there were two specific gentlemen who are in the video. They came and told me, upende, usipende, utaenda. So I told him, mimi siendi mahali. And that's when I started shouting that I'm being abducted. Actually, even my voice still is, I still not come back because I was screaming. And they told me, mama, tumekwambia utaenda. Na ujue utaenda. So we actually had an exchange. So when they dragged me, actually I even have marks on my hands that where I was being pinched and I was being dragged, and I was you can see the knees that I was left with. They're actually all here. I have those where they were dragging me. And it was a harrowing experience. And I would not wish it on anyone.
Here you are arrested. They're taking you somewhere you don't know.
Don't know.
How was the experience for you? How did they handle you?
I was dragged. It was so scary. My legs couldn't even carry me because I couldn't walk. I was just feeling my legs can't carry me. And how do you walk how do you walk with people who you don't know where they are taking? How do you walk to your death? Because that's what I felt. When I finally found myself in the Subaru, I was expecting my neighbors to come and help me, but at that time nobody was ready to come next to me because they were men in guns, so nobody was ready to come. I understood. So I was pushed in the Subaru and I was sandwiched between the two women, and I couldn't even sit. I went down on my knees and I started praying. And they were that same gentlemen who were harassing me. There is one, we really had a marathon of exchange of words. My hair, this hair, I want people to see. He called me Mongiki. He called me names. He told me he would shave it. He told me it is illegal to have such hair. Intimidation. Intimidation. He abused me and called me names. And it is a very good way of working on a psychologically intimidating you. Even physically telling me the way I'm dressed, the way I look, the way, everything intimidation. So it was a harrowing experience. So even when I reached the police station, they were not gentle with me, they were pushing me. The men now were really wanting to take part. In fact, they were threatening to he hit my head here on the back. So I had run out of my voice because I was screaming and shouting, trying to draw attention. And then I noticed we used a queer road. And I told them, I know this is State House. And then they told me, no, we are not going to State House. We are going to Nairobi area. But that's not the direction. So where are you going? Where are we going this way? Is when they said that they were avoiding traffic. So I told them, wherever you will take me, it is good, it's okay. But the intimidation that was there, the harrowing experience, I would not wish it on any person. And me, I'm a peaceful Kenyan. I have not broken any, I did not abuse anybody. I only asked, give us treatment, give us, we are sick. That is all I asked. I didn't ask for any politician to come or anything. Me, I'm not looking for any, we just wanted treatment. So when I reached the police station, I was also dragged. And I finally saw the reality that I'm in a police station. But one of the ladies was very gentle on me. She told me, just walk, do what they are asking you, listen to them. So I kept asking, what do they want? They are not telling me. They are not answering my question. What do they want? She told me, just sit down and listen to them. So the police station, they still were not telling me. They wanted to take my fingerprints. They were telling me we wanted to write a statement. So I told them about what. Still, they were not clear. What is the statement about? And then one of them pretended to have called my son, that he was coming to the police station. So when I asked him, what did my son say? He told me it's a woman who picked. I knew he was lying. Because my son, there's no woman who at that time who would be picking his phone. So I knew he was lying. Because already he had told me he's on the way and he was taking a rider. So I knew they were lying. And you can sense when somebody is lying to you. So I felt scared. I don't know my people. They don't know where I am. I don't know where I am. And from the first took me to Pangani, removed me from Pangani, took me to another place. That was the third police station that I landed in. And when I reached the last place, now that Capitol Hill, is when now they were ready to tell me, we want you to write a statement about Sha. Then I asked me, all this is because you want me to write a statement. What happened? Why couldn't you have told me? Does it warrant to come? I could have brought myself to the office. Does it warrant for you to do all this? I mean, if you had just told me you want me to write a statement of what happened, I can come. It's not an emergency. Here I am in hospital. I'm looking for treatment. So that is all you wanted. Then they told me, yes, that's all you wanted. And the lady, she's called Dorcas, yes. She told me that now we are ready to go. I told her, fine, let's go back. I can write a statement. Me, I don't have a problem. Actually, when she left me at Capitol, we had agreed with her. I'm writing the statement of what happened. I have no problem. They took my fingerprints. I told her I have no problem. Let's go. She never came back. So I spent a night in the police station. And that is how I spent. She didn't come back. And I have not seen her until today. So I feel that treating somebody that way, not telling them why you are arresting them, bundling them in a car, it is not right. Yes.
And looking back, when you walked into Afya House looking for solution, did you think you were going to face this kind of retribution?
No. Actually, I'm a coward. I'm very peaceful. Me, where there's war, I ran away. And when I went there, I will repeat, it's because I had a sick patient. My sister had been sick for over a year. And we know the systems. You'd walk there. If the systems are done, approval would be done within a matter of minutes and you're back to where you are. That was the norm. You could even call. We even have the numbers for that pre-authorization office. You call, you ask them, they ask you for your LOU number, you give them, they approve, you're done. There's no major big deal. You just call, can you approve for me this? Yes. You take a walk, even here in Ongatarongai where I stay, you could just walk to this office, can you approve for me? Yes. There's no big deal of approval. Now these things, we are coming, we are left, right, center. Nobody knows where is who. They don't know where the offices are. They don't know how the approval is being done. The systems are down. We don't understand. So maybe they need to come out clear and tell us because we are used to the old system. So if there's a new system, can they tell us how it is working? Because all those offices we went to, they didn't seem to know how it works. Nobody knew. And that was what the concern because patients were dying.
And Grace, having gone through all that, quite a traumatizing experience for you, how are you?
I have panic attacks. I wake up at 2 a.m. I can't sleep. I have to take a sedative to sleep. I'm even scared of leaving the house without anybody, without an escort. And I fear, because they said they know where I live, that they can walk in any minute. That was the kind of intimidation I was told. You think I don't know where you live? I'll come to your house if I want to come and get you. intimidation proper. So every other day when I hear somebody in the door outside, I get scared. That is what I'm living with today. But most of all, I am having chest pains. I have a heart issue. I have 2 stents. So it is stressful to my heart. It is very painful. Every other day I'm feeling congested. I'm feeling pain. And my pressure was high. Even that day they arrested me, my blood pressure was high. And I kept telling them, please let me take my medicines. I was actually waiting for somebody to bring me some drugs. And I insisted, but they did not want to hear. So it is a horrifying, it's a horror story. I still look at it like a horror story. But despite all that, I have hope. And I know it's not over. As in, until we get it right, until we know that our patients are being treated right, I feel that it is a journey, and I am appealing to anybody who it is not a personal vendetta against the government, or we just need to work together as a team. We find out how can we make it work, because I've used SHA for a long time. My husband has cancer. I can start with that. And my brother-in-law has cancer. We've used it, the late brother-in-law. We've used it. So we don't have a vendetta against the government. It's been working for us. And there are many other people who have good stories about SHA. And like me now, I can say it worked for me, did me an MRI. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, it has approved my operation. So it's a good story. But where it fails, let us accept there are places, there are gaps. So that is what I'm asking. Can we face the gaps? So anytime now I should be going for the operation. I have some preparations to make, but that one has worked. The MRI worked. But now when somebody pays and the services are not delivered, that's when they say it is not working. So there are gaps that are there. That is all we are saying. Address the gaps.